Big Bear AI just exploded past $5 a share, and it's up over 20% today. We've been targeting that level for a while here at about, it looks like last projection was a 25% increase yesterday, and it did make that, so it's looking good. We just wrapped up our daily live trading session trading Tesla. We bought the dip, and luckily, the rest of the portfolio is still holding green because it did sell just a little bit more down. And also, just a quick update before we dive in, the virtual stock trading system, we just reopened it for a limited time. We closed it on Sunday night, but we got a flood of people who missed it, and we decided to bring it back for a limited time. So if you, I don't know how long it's going to stay open. Once it's gone, it's definitely going to be closed, but it's the first link in the description to lock in your spots. And it's the second link if you want to join our daily live trading, or you can just grab daily live trading for free as a bonus when you join the virtual stock trading system. So let's take a look at what's happening with Big Bear, and also we'll touch on Tesla, but this is what I'm watching next with Big Bear. We did see this very nice trend upward. Look at that parabolic move this morning at market open. When we're looking at some of the catalysts, yes, we've seen the institutional holding increase for sure, and it's definitely not just retail investors here. It's coming from what is some big buying here at market open. But you also have, let's see if there's any brand new news that has triggered this. Looks like it's mostly just big investors buying. There wasn't any specific news article that came out, but it could be just a delayed reaction to them massively expanding into a new level of data with way more airports on their client list now that they have their VeriScan, this technology that they've been implementing, and we've seen it being deployed at a lot of new airports with their recent news. I think they said that their recent news was SFO. They got a tremendous amount of airports. This is the list. You got Chicago, Dallas, Denver International Airport, which we've seen firsthand. You even have internationally, they're working into Canada. They have Heathrow Airport. So this is the move we saw, over 25%. It actually went further than our projection. And to be honest, this move is not a massive surprise. We were looking to see if it was going to break above that 430, but this is the overall trend that we've been identifying for the last 3 months. So really holding true to pattern. And also you see this $5 range. To see it break above $5 is a beautiful sight. We're starting to now get into new levels, and this is where we approach a pretty strong resistance level at about $5.20. You can see right here, $5.20 range. When it comes to the reason why they're also seeing some momentum and leading the AI companies today up 22% is because, and AMD is doing well there as well, which is great. But the reason why too is because when we looked at some of the catalysts, most companies don't have Department of Defense contracts getting renewed in 2025. A lot of companies are having a little bit slowed on the spending on defense, but Big Bear AI still finding a way around that. Not only the Pentagon, not only the Army contracts into this year, but they also got the airport contracts, which are a way to kind of work into those further government contracts, but do it commercially through airports. So sorry if I'm a little stopped up this morning, guys. Don't know what's going on. Got some allergies. But hey, $5 price point. We're at this pretty strong resistance here that we've seen it get rejected before in this exact type of trend. I remember it was back in October when we started covering it under $1 a share. It must have been, yeah, right around here, or $1 a share was where it was. When it reached this $5.30 price point last time, we saw a pretty big sell down to about $2.80 before continuing up and then rallying to that $10 price point. So now we're starting to see the same trend. It did just have a massive amount of buy volume. It's possible it continues. We know that the market they're in is growing in defense and AI, and that now the technicals, look at that RSI way on the overbought side, and MACD. However, if we get into some very bullish territory, what we might end up doing is adjusting our RSI to fit the bullish momentum. For example, you can see here, this is a moment at which it was at this $5 price point before it really broke out to $10 a share. When it reached this level, $5, and I'm not totally bullish. We got the Iran missile strikes. You have a lot of companies that haven't reported earnings that are way up, and we see a big rally the past 2 days, even after the missile strikes. So it's possible we see a pullback in the market. And I actually was kind of like, I think it's what most people think, but I also have this very bullish outlook on asset prices. And I think with BBAI, the last time it was at this level, with the RSI, it was way overbought. You see, it was overbought. But what you could do in these instances, when you have hyper bullish movements, is when it's holding up here, is you can adjust the RSI to match the volatility. So I'll give you an example. Back when Tesla was surging right after the elections, I remember we were up till 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. trading on a live session back in November because Tesla was just rallying. We were buying it and adding to our positions and trading the short-term dips, and we had to adjust our RSI to match the volatility. So a good example here, you see right here around 60 is kind of the bottom, and the top is about 69. So essentially what we would do is we would trade overbought to like 70, and we would change this to like 60. And then you can zoom in on the increased volatility, which was where we are now. It's like, yeah, it looks overbought, but maybe we even change this. Let's go like 85. And what happens when you're in extreme volatile moment, like back here when it was overbought, but we're still looking at it, you see these sell downs, but you're working on a new indicator proportional to the bullish momentum. So it's possible that we get into that phase. If we start to see BBAI break out above this $5.15 range, really start to push into this $5 to $6 range, now we're starting to see hyper bullish movement. This is the type of movement that you have to adjust for. Like back here, you could see if you were trading here and it was overextended, this was a sell down and a buy. And then, this is actually where potentially you'd sell, and you see it sell down. This is a buy, and this is where, looking to sell. It's not a perfect, I didn't spend a lot of time calculating, but basically now we're seeing this 27% swing since we did our last analysis. This resistance is going to be felt, and we could see some pull downs, and we could also see that hyper bullish momentum here continue. And this is where a lot of money can be made. Now, we've already got long-term positions at $2.80 range. So we're in the green on our Charles Schwab portfolio right now. But definitely, if we're going to look for an entry here, a couple levels to consider. You got, from a technical standpoint, this resistance here. You got resistance at $4.75, which if it sells down from there, looks like that would be a sell down of about 7%. So potential sell down, which could put them into this range of more of a, if it validates that previous resistance, which is also not just there, but we could actually see that level all the way back to here. You see right here, resistance at that 475 range. And so we'll be watching that 475 range to act as a support, or even this $5 range to act as a support in a bullish, hyper bullish environment. And so as we start to see it push up to now almost 24% since starting this video, this is where you got to have some more caution, because if it does pull back, let's say there's a conservative pullback, the financials, for example, like if we pull up the financials, some people are saying, the net income's been volatile. This next quarter could be huge, but the income statement has been volatile recently. Then it's possible that what we could see take place is that correction before continuing up. So, urging caution on that near term, at least if you're on a short-term trade, looking for that. But also on the long-term trades, there is still some potential for this hyperbull play to get into this $5 to $7 range. We want to watch that level really closely, because once we start to break out above this $5 range, the next target here is really this previous support level right here, kind of in this range, and then you got this resistance here at 635, right around 640. It's kind of that next target. So when we're looking at potential swings, if it really goes hyper bullish here, then this is the next trend up here, about a 20% swing for the hyper bull trend. And that's where we want to watch these levels closely. If you were doing like a scalp trade, for example, $5 would be like more just below $5 kind of stop loss probably, or just above $5. If you're doing more of a swing trade, something like that, then we might look for that pull down a little bit more, or just manage risk the same way you would a scalp, but essentially just give yourself a little bit more cushion. So this is the type of move we've been waiting for. And how many of you guys are excited about this? Comment down below. I'm excited as well. And when it comes to the VariScan and some of their technical indicators or their news indicators, the recent hire of their new CEO, just it makes sense. Ever since they hired this new CEO, who is formerly the acting secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security, that immediately positioned, like you could see, the demand for differentiated artificial intelligence solutions to provide strategic advantage in government and business is strong, and the combination of recent technological achievements and strategic contract awards have positioned Big Bear as a leading AI solutions provider focused on national security. Now, the type of connections that McElhannon has could deem to be very, it says, make Big Bear uniquely positioned to support objectives that are related to complexity. For example, having the TSA go through these processes of being able to vet every single person that goes through. And it's not even TSA, they're actually having this unique approach to the market where they're going behind TSA. They're actually going at the boarding onto the plane, which also is kind of like this blue ocean. You don't have a lot of this facial recognition anywhere where you board into the plane. Do you have it at TSA? Yes, but they're actually there not only for, it's not so much TSA as it is TSA, they have that, but they also have it for specifically where you board. You could tell this isn't TSA, this is where they're going through onto the plane. And that's how I saw it personally when I noticed Big Bear Tech when I was flying to that Space Tech conference in Colorado. So Big Bear, we're going to see if it holds this level. $5 is the hyper bullish level. Otherwise, we could possibly see that 480 like we talked about. This previous resistance at 480 could be the sell down. And congratulations to everybody that was able to get in on this trade yesterday as we did cover it. We said, hey, it's selling down. Maybe it's the financials, what have you, but it's at this support, starting to push up. If we see this level, that's the next target. And there you go, over our target, actually up to that $5 range. Is exactly what we like to see. So we'll be watching it throughout the day. Comment your thoughts below on Big Bear. And again, we just opened that virtual stock trading system again for those of you guys that missed it. If you want to take a look at it, you get the 6 weeks of Zooms, which go into entries and exits, asset allocation, building your portfolio. You also get a one-on-one call with me and early access to our beta software for Mercatus, which has predictive analytics, deep asset analysis that's based on the same criteria as we go through, but AI and agents going out and doing that research for you to give you better decision-making ability when identifying stocks. Not only that, there's the interactive market network, finding emerging markets before they are out. And we have a huge deal right now. If you want to take advantage of it, I would encourage you to at least take a look, because you could also join us in our live trading tomorrow morning at Market Open for free. As a bonus, you get 1 year of Stockmates included. And speaking of Stockmate, I was just checking out some of the targets for this week. And one of the targets we had was for Micron Technology. So we're going to be watching really closely as well later this week for our targets for our earnings that we released just on Monday, which is Micron Technology reporting earnings tomorrow. after hours. So that's one of the main semiconductor companies. We're going to see how their guidance is and what they come in with profit wise tomorrow. We'll be watching that. And if you want access to these targets along with all of the companies that are reporting and when they're reporting, it's the second link in the description, or you can get it in the virtual stock trading system. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you all. Again, if I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.